My name is Elliot Payne. I'm the council president, and I also represent Ward 1. And we are gathered today because we just got word last night that Chief O'Hara has submitted his letter of resignation. This was in response to a written reprimand from the mayor associated with some of his conduct during an active investigation. The resignation is the right outcome, but it does not resolve the underlying issue of a lack of transparency and accountability. And I want to go through a timeline of events and share what we know. Last night, the mayor called me indicating that the chief had resigned as a result of an investigation associated with interference in a previous investigation that happened in 2025. As early as May 1st of 2025, the mayor and Commissioner Barnett confronted the chief about some anonymous accusations and indicated that they would be investigating those accusations. That investigation was closed in July and August with two separate reports in 2025. In December, a witness came forward to indicate that the chief had interfered in that previous investigation, and a new investigation was open. Critically important to this timeline is that the mayor nominated the chief on May 6th while there was still an active investigation about his interference in that previous investigation. He received the closure of that investigation with substantiated findings that there was some interference in the previous investigation, and each of these events happened without any disclosure to City Council. And I think what's really critically important to know today is that it's for us to do our oversight job, we need information. We need to know about allegations, we need to know about open investigations, we need to know about closed investigations, regardless of what their outcome are. And that lack of disclosure is what we are here to talk about today, because this has an overarching implication for all of police accountability, because accountability is built on trust and transparency. And when we don't have active collaboration with the administration, whether that's the mayor or the safety commissioner, we cannot do our jobs effectively. And so what we need today is for the mayor to both share the results of those previous reports and work with us on identifying the leadership for the police department and the Office of Community Safety together and collaboratively. We have a shared interest in an effective and accountable public safety system in the city of Minneapolis, and it is critically important that we work in collaboration with the mayor to do that. We can no longer allow the mayor to deflect that responsibility to a commissioner or a chief. We're asking for the mayor to be hands-on, working with City Council on that oversight of the future of public safety. And with that, I'm going to hand it to Councilmember Wansley.
Thank you, President Payne. I am Councilmember Robin Wansley. I am the council member for Ward 2, and I also serve as the council's minority leader. On Tuesday, the day before we received news of Chief O'Hara's resignation, our community gathered to honor the 6th anniversary of the murder of George Floyd. And despite promises of reform and change, there is no meaningful work from Mayor Frye to show other than a growing list of safety commissioners and safety leaders who have left under problematic or concerning conditions. Mayor Frye asking Brian O'Hara to resign is a symptom of a much larger problem, which is simply Mayor Frye continues to be unable to effectively manage the Minneapolis Police Department. And though Frye has deflected this mismanagement over MPD to one chief after another, as well as onto one safety commissioner after another, the blame for the department's continued instability lies within Mayor Frye himself. This is increasingly clear with the recent revelations about the investigations into O'Hara's conduct. The city's investigative report that Council President Payne referenced affirms that Mayor Frye knew that there were unanswered questions and pending investigations into Brian O'Hara when he renominated him to the City Council just a few weeks ago. And this is completely out of step with professional norms. In cases where the chief of police has serious allegations regarding misconduct, neighboring jurisdictions took immediate action. And we're talking about Metro Transit, Golden Valley, and Rosemount. All of their police departments placed their chief of police on administrative leave once allegations triggered an investigation into potential misconduct. Mayor Fry has yet to explain or defend his choice to allow Brian O'Hara to remain the acting chief of police while these claims were being investigated, or why he even nominated him for a second term. And I hope Brian O'Hara's resignation serves as a wake-up call to Mayor Fry, and that he will stop deflecting to appointed leaders or telling residents that reform will come from his new flashy new nominee. Mayor Fry is the sole authority over MPD and has been since 2017. And MPD's failures are Mayor Fry's legacy. And in light of Brian O'Hara's resignation, I'm calling on Mayor Fry to finally take responsibility for MPD himself, as voters elected him to do. Every single resident has paid the price for Mayor Fry's continued failure to oversee our police department. Some have paid with their lives at the hands of MPD, and those folks include residents like Amir Locke and George Floyd, who we honored this past week. Others have paid through MPD's inaction to protect and serve them, like Davis Matori, Mariah Samuels, and Allison Lucier. And every single one of us have paid from our pocketbooks because MPD has added millions to your property taxes every year through a combination of unnecessary overtime, off-duty subsidies, and wasteful spending, like the mayor's recent proposal to spend $40 million on a cop city. Each of these failures are a direct result of Mayor Fry's choices, yet it is working class residents who have to foot the bill time and time again. Minneapolis residents deserve to finally get what they've been promised for nearly a decade now. And that is meaningful police reform and a public safety system that truly serves everyone. And Mayor Fry, again, has the sole authority to make that happen. And he doesn't have to do it alone. He's never had to do this alone. The City Council has been committed to championing and bringing forward real solutions that have helped to keep our residents safe. Be it investing in non-police public safety programs like safety ambassadors, or uplifting the needs and priorities of experts in our community, such as us doing so, like with our St. Paul neighbors who inspired our creation of a non-fatal task force that has already reduced our homicide rates by 80%, and we're already nearly clearing our non-fatal shootings at 47%. We also have taken the lead in prompting and advancing off-duty reforms, which again has posed massive liabilities for the city. And the City Council wants to see real reform, and we know our communities do too. So Mayor Fry, if you are finally ready to accept this responsibility and rein in MPD, again, we are here willing and ready as your partners on council. And the most immediate actions that Mayor Fry can take to help our city move forward in this moment, as highlighted by Council President Payne's call to action as well, is to work with council on a public and transparent process to hire a reputable, vetted, and qualified police chief, and to do so for the selection of our next Office of Safety Commissioner as well. This process, by working with us, will help us all work together to ensure that our residents are finally receiving the public safety systems and programs that they deserve, that will also help keep all of our communities safe. And with that, I will pass it to Councilmember Chavez.
Hello, everyone. Jason Chavez, Ward 9 City Council members. For a number of reasons, I'm not going to get into the specifics on the reasons why Mayor Fry made his decision. I will say, though, investigation aside, I was concerned about the mayor moving forward with his nomination because of the issues surrounding the Minneapolis Police Department and the multiple concerns that community members have arisen throughout the past few weeks, months, years, and decades. As you all know, MPD went over budget by $20 million last year and are on pace to go even further this year. The after-action reviews from the city conducted by the city auditor regarding Allison Lucier and Davis Maturi cases were scathing, concerning, and should be alarming for residents of the city of Minneapolis. To me, a big issue is that Mayor Fry was comfortable with that level of performance within MPD and still thought it was a good idea to reappoint O'Hara. And if this episode shows us anything, it's that Mayor Fry's judgment should be called into question. Because of that, the part that is often left out of the conversation here is that Mayor Fry has complete control over the Minneapolis Police Department, and he will continue to have complete control over the police department. We have seen under his leadership a lack of accountability for the police department. That includes for the chief, and this case is no different than that. And just as we expect accountability for the Minneapolis Police Department from basic governance, professionalism, and operations, I think it's important that we hold those same accountability mechanisms for the mayor of Minneapolis and his control over the Minneapolis Police Department. He should explain why massive budget overspends, the Allison Lucier cases, Davis Maturi, Mara Samuels cases were not enough to not bring forward this nomination. As you all know, Mayor Fry still brought him forward, and he told the Minneapolis City Council that we needed to be clear-eyed about the consequences of not supporting this nomination. As the chair of the Public Health, Safety, and Equity Committee, I'm asking the mayor to work with the City Council, to collaboratively, quite frankly, work with the City Council in finding a new chief and a new commissioner of public safety from the Office of Community Safety. And regardless of what Mayor Fry's next steps are, I want the public to know that the Minneapolis City Council and members of this body will continue to hold the police department accountable, and we will continue to fund a comprehensive public safety system that keeps our residents safe. With that, I also want to thank Interim Chief Katie Blackwell for stepping up into this new role. I look forward to working with her as the chair of this committee as we continue to move forward on public safety that matters to our residents. Thank you.
Any questions?
What did you know about the investigation or any findings of the investigation at the moment that O'Hara was renominated?
We knew of no actual formal investigations at that time. None of that was disclosed to us. We discovered the depth of these investigations last night when the mayor shared out the report that closed the investigation into the interference into the previous investigations.
You didn't know that either of the investigations existed? Were you aware of the existence of the investigations?
I was not. I had heard rumors, and I had asked the mayor about whether or not he knew of these rumors, and he said we've heard rumors and there's no evidence. We have investigated it. But at no point did he brief us on any formal investigation, let us know there was an independent investigation, or what the outcome of those investigations were.
I asked this because Councilmember Michael Rainville issued a statement that said, as has been publicly reported, I had questions, and these questions have been answered, which suggests that he knew something of the depth of the substance of this.
And we're not even speaking to the substance of the allegations. We're speaking to the lack of the transparency and disclosure of these investigations before we're even getting into the substance of those investigations.
Just to be clear, those 2025 investigations that were closed in the summer, were you aware of those and the outcome of those?
No, I was not.
They're clarifying questions. So after those investigations concluded, and then the other witness came forward about the interference, were you saying that the mayor also knew about that, or are you not aware if he knew at that time that the interference investigation started?
I'm assuming that the mayor must have known about that for that investigation to go forward.
You talk about more collaboration, the mayor and the council. What does that actually look like in practice? I know you all know what the charter says about that meeting.
I think that the mayor should be relying on us to expand his view of judgment on some of these hard decisions. And I think that when he goes off into his office alone and makes decisions without actually working with city council, you get this result, which is a total lapse of judgment to renominate this individual, knowing that these active investigations were open.
To build on that, perhaps it's just the same question, just phrased differently. Moving forward now, what's next? How do you plan on ensuring the search for a next trustworthy, credible police chief is handled well?
By having council be there right at the beginning and at the table, deciding on all of those choices together collaboratively. Not having the mayor send us a nomination letter at the final hour before our council meeting, as we received on May 6th.
The
Have you spoken to the mayor? Have you talked to him about your expectations? Has he responded?
I spoke to him last night as he was disclosing this, and I sent him a letter asking for him to share formally. I did a formal request for those previous investigations, what those report findings are, because I think that's going to be important as we figure out the right due diligence process for the next nominee.
And Minneapolis is still under a state consent decree. Do you all have concerns about how that might play out, considering the fact that, you know, right now we have an interim chief and then the uncertainty of what's happening with Commissioner Barnett?
Deep concerns, and I think that's why I'm so troubled by this nomination, because one of the things that was found in our previous independent evaluator report were challenges within internal affairs. Now we're learning that there was an investigation into interventions in internal affairs that might have disrupted the chief's own investigation, and so we have to look at that really critically as we're moving forward.
Are you aware whether Chief O'Hara has any severance or anything off his resignation?
I'm not aware of the terms of his separation.
Last question. While specifics aren't available, the fact that complaints have been filed are public, there's a dashboard for it. Given the number of complaints stacked up against Chief O'Hara, why didn't you and your council members call for him to be on leave then, as you were doing today?
You know, I actually confronted the chief directly on that and asked him, is there anything that you can share with me about these complaints? And he said, I think this all just has to do with Metro Surge. He just kind of dismissed it as that. And the Data Practices Act doesn't allow us to know the details of those complaints until they're closed.
Why
But
not
to
call
but to
for him to be on leave though, as those complaints stacked up? As you stressed, yeah, I think it was Councilmember Wamsley stressing, he should have been on leave. Why not then take a stance?
We don't have any visibility into the veracity of those complaints. They could be anything from how he conducted an interview on 60 Minutes all the way through to how he conducts himself with constituents, and we don't know the specifics of that. The mayor and the commissioner should know the details with the level that would call for that type of intervention.
But the mayor has said specifically that because the initial complaint was found to be unsubstantiated or not enough evidence, there's no way that he could put him on administrative leave or something like that. You're saying he should have, but he's saying, I can't do it because people make complaints all the time. I can't do it until there's something substantiated.
Whatever the complaint was that rose to the occasion for an independent investigation should have been a strong indicator that that would have been a measured response.
And can I offer clarification very quickly to something? So the matter wasn't around putting Chief O'Hara at that time on leave. This body, a number of council members, including myself, I know Councilmember Chavez, has raised over several years major concerns regarding the mismanagement of this department by both Chief O'Hara and Ty Barnett. And we have all raised, from Allison Lucier, Mariah Samuels, Davis Mattori. We have spent years bringing in after actions, bringing those concerns and elevating those to the mayor himself. When we learned about our rescue and our current Commissioner of Safety authorizing a problematic contract with that vendor, council had to, again, amplify those concerns. We're constantly raising the concerns and persistently, and have asked Mayor Frye to work with us, and getting to not this point. Mayor Frye had, with all of those various examples of mismanagement, of potential misconduct, he had the option to not bring forward Chief O'Hara for renomination. That is very different than a call to be on leave. And I think all of us would have preferred to see a search for a new police chief, as we're pursuing a new search for our Office of Community Safety, as a response or as a result of 2 years of us flagging these very clear concerns.
Has this
Prior to
changed
this,
at all?
did you
That's
have
it.
a veto-proof majority to deny us another term?
I'm not sure that that's relevant here, but thank you all. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.